I have some good news and some bad news. Some good news, whiskey. Some bad news. We will probably not find out what tonight's whiskey is at all. Greetings. My name is Brian. Welcome to KillCo Whiskey Musings. Day 17. Whiskey Advent. Whiscord. Advent calendar. We're in the home stretch. There's basically a week from today will be Christmas Eve, Music Maestro. And then is it next Sunday then? Landing on a Sunday this time? Hold on, I looked at this before I started. But as usual, I already forgot. Yeah, well. Christmas Day will be on a Sunday. Ooh. Cool. I'll be done for a little while, and then you have to wait until New Year's Eve. And then it'll be next year, and then we'll start all over again. Anyhow, let's think about that. Most wonderful time of the year. Is it though? Not for those with my kind of problems. But we don't talk about that. Yes, we do. I talk about that constantly. I just mentioned it. So there. Ha ha ha. With that said. 70. And the reason I said at the start, we probably won't find out what this is, because we probably won't. I actually have maybe a quarter of the times when I've done this checked Discord to see if the whiskey was revealed, and I checked today. Normally it would be done by noon. Should have happened hours ago. Didn't. It's a weekend. I think I mentioned once or twice at least. It just doesn't happen sometimes on the weekends. It's like, oh, he has a life and other things going on. Shocking. With that, let's go. This music's too loud. It's already distracting me. Bourbon. Maybe. At a glance, I think bourbon. I hope so. I would like bourbon right now. I don't particularly know why I'd like a bourbon right now, but I would. And I should mention again at the start here, this will be about 30 minutes long. 15 minutes of analyzing the whiskey, going over it, trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And the last two, and sometimes I feel like I got a whiff from this distance. It just confuses me. I forgot what I was gonna say. Big surprise. Show you the color here. This looks like a bourbon, right? But we've remembered. This is the one good thing about hello. Oh, geez, I was wondering why that happened. Mounting suspense to the reveal. Yes, exactly. If you're watching the replay, it hopefully says what it was already. So spoilers there, but yeah, replay. That's what it's there for. I didn't edit yesterday's yet. So if you don't know what yesterday's was, I haven't put the words at the end of the description. Yeah, I was asleep about 40 minutes ago, by the way, if you haven't noticed. Detected Stashimus Epic. Thank you. Bourbon is bourbon. I want to say something witty in response to that, but my brain doesn't work right now. Expecto Patronum. There we go. That's as close as I got. Let's begin with the whiskey, shall we? Again, my initial thoughts are bourbon. But, oh, that's what I was saying, yeah. Could be a American single malt. That has been the latest curveball that's been happening since it's becoming more and more common these days. Anyway, on with the show. Oh, I hope this is a bourbon. Nice caramel brown sugar notes immediately. My first thought was, oh, is this Blanton's? Shut up, brain. Jeez, I hope not. If it is, that's hilarious. I don't think he'd do that. Oh. I have to turn the thing off here. Excuse me. Oh, oops. getting weird things flashing through my mind. I thought mandarin oranges. I'm not sure what those taste like. Or am I thinking clementines? I keep getting those crisscrossed. There is a... I want to say a butter note. That's not really what I mean. Butterscotch note. Those little hard butterscotch candies. What are they called? Werthers? Yeah, I gotta love it that somehow a candy title or a brand has worked its way into the whiskey world. It's just easier to say than caramel hard candy. Vanilla, of course. What is the... Oh. Powdered sugar. I'm enjoying the nose, if you couldn't tell. I believe that was a nice... There's a thread of cherry. Dark cherry. Give it. Cookies. Vanilla wafers. Oh. This is nice so far. I'm enjoying this. What I can only hope is a bourbon. If this is some kind of malt. What the... And that stomach, stop it. I'm wondering, is it a malt pretending to be a bourbon? I don't know, and I'm not gonna find out today. In all likelihood, it makes it extremely interesting for me. Like, what is this? I don't know, and I won't know. Sugar kitty, meow. I'm liking how this little cup is full of moving... I don't want to call them coins. What are they called? Circular dollar sign things. Someday I'll change what those look like to something more interesting, but they look alive. They'll be gone soon, end of the year. Or not end of the year, end of the advent calendar. I will clear that. But it's been nice to see them all hanging out there. Once again, thank you, Zenbood, for continuing your trend. You did not have to do that. See man, cheers, brother. I always want to do, what's his name? What's his name's always? Brother. Oh, yeah. And then immediately I think of Slim Jims, because advertisement back when I was a child worked in weird ways. Woof. It's very sweet on the nose. I can't tell the proof or anything. We didn't do the legs trick, which has been completely useless thus far. I'm going to just say it's Elijah Craig and say 47%. It doesn't smell like Elijah Craig to me, but 47%. That's what we're guessing at the moment. Yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage. I watched WWF as a child because that's what it was back then. And now it is, well, half-naked men in spandex doing a soap opera. That involves hitting each other and ladders and those foldable chairs. Not wrong. I'm enjoying the nose. It is a little sweeter. Maybe it's just corn sweetness from this bourbon. Maybe it's just something about this bourbon that's a lot sweeter than others. But that is coming to the front above anything else. I can't even get much oak notes. Like I'm looking for ethanol and oak, and it's just like, oh, this is sweet. It's like a bakery. Okay. I still am laughing at the fact. Well, I'm amused by the fact that it was a initial. Is this Blanton's? That hasn't happened yet, so it had to happen at least once. brother. Yeah, but I still hear it like that when I see it. And I appreciate the terms. Man, I do. Ugh. Alright, time for drinking. That was about 10 minutes. We still got 20 minutes left. Most of that time will be spent with me looking at Discord going, maybe he posted. If it's been 7 hours and 10 minutes and he hasn't yet, I don't think. But we'll see. Whoa. I think the proof is higher than 47. Still pretty sure it's a bourbon. Oh. Forgot how to drink. Excuse me while I have a minute. I'm trying not to analyze the first sip as usual and failing. This is me trying not to think about it. Rattle my brain around slightly. That might help. It was only a mild burn, but on the palate it seemed hotter. But also I was afraid about spilling much of myself because I clearly cannot do two things at once. And those two things are thinking and drinking at the same time. I mean, who can do both of them anyway? Nothing hugely different on the nose now. Sometimes that happens. You know the drill. And if not, I'm telling you what it is. I'm going to take a sip now, hold my palate briefly, let it warm up, move around slightly, and see if I can get more out of that. I feel like this is going to be a bit tricky to do. Because with that initial sip, it was a little more aggressive than I expected. But again, that's why the first sip doesn't really... Don't do much about it because you do not want to try to analyze anything when you haven't even had a sip of it. Because it just messes with you. I feel like it's a psychological thing. Especially with people who are new to whiskey. They expect to learn a lot. They should know everything on the first sip. No, not at all. In fact, actively don't think about it, please. You just enjoy the experience of sipping whiskey at first. And then we can worry about going through the analytics. And I'm like saying that word. That's what we're doing. Trying to discover more about the whiskey feels a little better. Analyzing anything sounds like a lot of work and study and focus. My brain doesn't do well with those. Here we go. Cheers. Thank you all for being here. Please let me know what you're drinking tonight. Doesn't matter what it is. I just don't like drinking alone. Okay. What a nice progression. Vanilla sweet. A bit of spice. Brown sugar mostly. Something slightly prickly. I swear, if this is a rye. Or a malt. I can't tell what anything is anymore. That's what this whiskey advent calendar thing has done. It's like, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I thought I could like decipher a bourbon from a rye really easily, and then I get the weirdest things. Glen expressions. That's a good idea. I might go for some Glenfiddich later. Depending on what this is. Glenmoe? Ooh, Glenmoe. I don't know what that is. So I think I know what that is. I was going to do the same thing as I did yesterday, and I realized that's for the hour-long stream. Don't do that now. I do still have a few samples in front of me, and by a few, I mean at least 10, maybe more. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that was a good guess. 11. Yep, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Those over there are ryes, I believe. And I wasn't a huge fan, but Gotta drink them eventually. Confused. I'm more frustrated knowing I won't find out what it is until much later. But it's fine. Yeah. The yesterday's was posted at noon. And if you'd like to know what yesterday's one is, if you weren't here, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm reminding myself what it is. Oh yeah, it was a weird Scotch. That was an odd one. I like this one much better than the Scotch I had yesterday, so that's good. But I will not be finding what this is tonight by the look of it. I know last time this happened, you didn't post until very late. So we're talking 2 to 3 a.m. the next day. So the next morning is when it happened. We'll see. I'm keeping an eye on it, but it does have a nice texture. It does get a little spicy on my tongue. Again, I call it like tongue tingles or prickly feeling. It dances on your tongue for a bit, midway through. And that fades out. It's not really dry, which is good. Trying to get some more tasting notes though. I just thought of waffles with maple syrup. I really like waffles. I have a waffle problem. Apparently, I really like having waffles at this time of year because I've had them more than once in the past month and a half. Which is, you know, for the rest of the year, don't want waffles at all. Belgian waffles, mind you. Not messing around. Oh, or I'm just hungry, which also happens a lot when doing these. Pulling back the curtain for a moment, my sleeping pattern is still horribly fractured. I fell asleep today from 3:30 to 6:30. It was 5:30 for a moment, and then it was 6:30, and then I was like, oh, I almost slept through the whole thing I was supposed to do. That's cool. Not having fun at this time of year in my sleep, going, yeah, no, this is how your life is now. It's great fun, believe me. I feel like I'm getting bamboozled again. This doesn't speak rye to me. And what I've been trying to do is, for this Whiscord Advent calendar, is trying to decipher when a spicy tingly feeling means rye and a spicy tingly feeling means higher proof. So far, not too great. I'm not able to figure that out yet. Give a sip of water, please. Find anything else out. Because I like this. This is enjoyable, but it's also perplexing. It isn't screaming bourbon other than... I did think E.H. Taylor for a moment, but I also equate a lot of bourbons to just Buffalo Trace. Unsurprisingly. I'm also worried about the sweetness of it, because it seems sweeter than it should be. Choice between getting sleep and doing a stream. Take the sleep. Whiskey's not going anywhere. Well, Sandbird, thank you for saying that. But it wasn't a matter of needing to. It was a. This is how it is now, which is, I will fall asleep somewhere in the afternoon, or as with last night, right after the stream ended. Almost, I went to sleep for probably 3 to 4 hours. I think I woke up at 11 p.m. And I was up at least 2, and then I woke up this morning at 8. That kind of blurs together when your life is as fractured as that. So it's not so much a matter of I thought I would miss this. I even put my alarm for 5:30, which is why I woke up briefly. Then fell back asleep for an hour. So I got the extra sleep, it seems, in that regard. But I'm awake now, for the most part. And I should eat food after this. That's really the thing that's been messing with me, is not eating as much as I should. Big surprise. Alright. A little more of this. Something about this is familiar on the palate, and it's right there for half a second. And then it's gone. It's nice. But I've been duped so many times this month that I'm afraid to say it's absolutely a bourbon. Because there's something about it I feel is making me think of something else. That it might be a malt thing. Because that's a note I've been trying to pull out of this as well. Is when it becomes a malt sweetness and not a corn sweetness. Because they're different. If this is an American malt, I swear. Good on them, if it is. Since it is, it fits the line of similarity to bourbon enough to where I'm just going, I've been wondering about that. Talk about the whiskey industry, because I know nothing about... I know all the things about the whiskey industry. I know what I've heard. Doesn't mean it's true. But I know there is a rise of American single malts or American malt whiskey in the world at the moment. And I can easily see them doing something very similar to bourbon. Like, they'll actively try to be like, all right, we're not making bourbons right now because of this rule. It's a new American oak rule for it to be bourbon. If there have been problems with oak lately. So they'll switch to something else, maybe used oak, to make American malts. And I could easily see them trying to line up the similarities so much that it would bamboozle me, like this one might. If that's what it is. But again, I won't know until tomorrow in all likelihood. Neither will you. But on the whole, it is tasty. I'm enjoying it. It's also confusing. It's right near the beginning where I go, ah! Yeah, there's something about this that doesn't sit quite right with me. Not a bad way, just... It's making me think of something, and it's not quite bourbon. The spice lingers too long. It might just be me holding my tongue for that long. Nice sweetness. Not overly complicated. Nice progression. Nice texture. But still confusing. There aren't any citrus notes on it. It's all like really sweet. And I'm going with vanilla, the kind of same thing, but the powdered sugar frosting that I've talked about before is like if you want to make your own frosting at home, it's just, I want to say water and powdered sugar, but I honestly don't remember how it's made. But just make it like that. You put liquid in powdered sugar somehow and make frosting. Similar to that, very sweet. There is a prickliness to it. So I don't know if that's going to be the proof or wood impact or rye impact. And there's something so weirdly familiar at the beginning of the sip. Jimmy Jazz, good evening, whiskey folks. I just had one of your samples last night. It was the thing I kept pronouncing incorrectly. Tell me what that is. I know Zenbu put it in a comment yesterday, but the 19-year-old Blackadder. I want to say Dalwhinnie. I know that's not what it is because there's not enough letters there. But it's good. I drank the rest of it last night. Dalwhinnie. Dalwhinnie. Sure. That's exactly how it's spelled. I don't know the Scottish language. All right. Something about this is telling me it's a malt. I think that's what that initial Dalun. My feeling is this is a malt. There's something about the initial sip and how it lands on my tongue. It's making me think of malt instead of bourbon. Is it good? Yes. Have I just convinced myself it is? Very possible. But what I do like is that is happening. Where I guess you do this every day for 19 days, or 17 days, you start to pick things out. Thinking it's already Monday, that's not good. But something about the initial hit on my palate is making me think more malt than bourbon. That's probably what's been bothering me the whole time. I did enjoy it. Jim Jazz. It was a nice counter to what I had yesterday, which was not so great. And I will be fixing the title of that after this. But unfortunately tonight there's been a hiccup, which has happened at least once or twice now. But again, it's the weekend, and the person who has to post what it is every day has been doing a great job. Just the weekends really just throw a wrench in all of it. It's fine. I will find out what it is soon. You will find out what it is soon. Just be sure to check back. You'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I'll be here tomorrow, 7 p.m. for my usual Sunday stream. At 7. That'll be an hour long, so maybe I'll be able to pick up another sample schwample to finish off, since I have had quite a few of those lately over the past year. Like, I'm looking over here and seeing maybe 10, and then I know there's a box somewhere over here in the mess that I live in that has a whole bunch more Scotch just hanging out that I haven't drank. So yeah. With that, coming to the end of the stream, a few more minutes. You're going to check in for the rest of the week. We're almost done. We've got from, again, to a week from today will be Christmas Eve. If that doesn't freak you out, nothing will. And then it'll be Christmas Day. Stay tuned for the 23rd. Especially, something fun should happen. If all goes well. When is that? It's Friday. Alright, I'll be doing a normal stream then anyway. We'll see. Hello. 30 minutes later, PayPal's like, here's the thing happened. I know, you're late. Yeah, I think that's become part of the reason I've done it, Jimmy, is you can go all the way back to the beginning of the videos I was doing, early on, that I was doing, just where my whole thing was just getting into whiskey, was advent calendars. So as overdone as they are for every whiskey channel there is out there, for me, personally, it's how I got into whiskey. So I feel a larger obligation to do it because it brings me back to when I started. And it's also a nice, as you said, teaching tool. Where like right now, where I'm getting this weird malt vibe from this instead of bourbon. Could be wrong, but there's something about the initial taste of it, the way it's landing on my tongue. Like, what? Doesn't seem like a bourbon. Something about it. With that, 7:30. As always, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome. And I will see you out there. Boop. Thank you for joining me on KillCo Whiskey Musings. You can find my social media and Patreon in the links below. Be sure to